Hi, I'm Lindsay Alexander, and this is mybanktracker.com. When you're itemizing your taxes, it can be a little tricky and scary at the same time, especially if you don't know what it means or you don't know what you're doing. There are two choices when tax time rolls around. When reducing your tax liability, you can either take the standard deduction or you can itemize your actual expenses to figure out your tax deduction. Itemizing may lower your tax responsibility depending on certain situations. Basically, itemizing is making a list of tax-deductible expenses that you paid throughout the year, and you include them on your income taxes to get a tax deduction. After making that list of possible deductions and you see that your itemized deductions aren't greater than the standard deduction, you can then take the standard deduction on your taxes, unless you don't qualify. You should take note that you do not qualify for the standard deduction if you have changed your annual accounting method and will be filing a tax return for a period of less than 12 months, or if you are married but filing taxes as married filing separately, and your spouse itemized deduction, or if you're a dual status alien or non-resident alien. Depending on your specific situation, the standard deduction may give you a bigger tax break than the itemized list of deductions. It really depends on what you spent your money on last year. So what expenses can you actually itemize? Well, people who own a home and have retirement accounts tend to find that they can use their home mortgage interest, their investment interest expenses, property taxes, and state and local income taxes. Other deductions also include charitable donations, as well as many miscellaneous deductions. For example, if you, your child, or spouse is attending college, you can use those tuition and fees as a deduction. So far, this seems pretty easy. It's just a list of tax-deductible expenses, tuition costs, and charitable donations. But it isn't as easy as it seems because things can get more complicated. For example, you can only count your medical expenses if they are at least 7.5% higher than your adjusted gross income. That usually means that you must have had some intense treatments that cost a lot of money. With medical procedures, you can't include cosmetic procedures, which sometimes makes it difficult to decide whether a procedure can be deemed a deduction. Itemizing and deducting can be easy, such as when donating to charity. All you have to do is add the total amount you donated to the qualified organizations during the year. As long as you didn't give more than 50% of your adjusted gross income, you can include the entire amount as a deduction. It's 30% of your adjusted gross income for property donations, such as houses, cars, and furniture. In order to make things easy when itemizing your deductions, take it step by step, even if it takes you a few hours. You have options when figuring out your taxes, either using paper forms and written instructions, or tax software, or a tax professional. When you finish your deductions, you need to know how to claim them. You want to make sure you are using the correct IRS form, which is a 1040. You will need a Schedule A to calculate your deductions. You need to indicate on the 1040 that you want to take an itemized deduction rather than the standard deduction. So Schedule A will give you step-by-step instructions that will make it easier for you to calculate your deductions. When you have the forms in front of you, it's much easier to do and follow all your financial information. All you have to do is enter the amount of each type of deduction on the correct line. It may be wise to get a detailed record of all your eligible tax deductions throughout the year. So when it's time to file your taxes, you can see if you have a higher deduction by itemizing your expenses or by taking the standard deduction. And just remember that it only makes sense to take the itemized deduction if it's larger than the standard deduction. If the standard deduction is larger, you won't have to worry about itemizing since you'll save more money with the standard deduction. I'm Lindsay Alexander with mybanktracker.com, and together we're going to build your finances and rebuild the world.